Let me tell you something right up front. If you're coming to Animal Kingdom with a mobility scooter, here's one of the first things you need to know. This is not a park you rush. This is a park you pace. And if you try to treat it like any other parks, this one will wear you out. Hi, I'm John, and here in my universe, we keep things simple, honest, and real, especially when it comes to navigating Disney with mobility challenges. Today, I want to take you through what it's really like spending a day at Disney's Animal Kingdom using a mobility scooter. It's not theory, it's not assumptions, just real experience. Getting to Animal Kingdom is actually one of the easiest starts to your day. If you're staying on Disney property, you'll take the bus. If you're coming in from off property, you'll drive in. And you can get there from Disney Springs by bus, depending upon your plans. But the key thing is there's no ferry, there's no boats, no monorail, no Skyliner, no extra step. You arrive and you're there, and that makes a difference. Now, in my case, I don't rope drop this park. I usually come in mid-morning, and honestly, that works very well here because Animal Kingdom isn't about getting ahead of everything. It's about managing your energy. After I get through security and ticketing, I head straight toward the Tree of Life. It's on Discovery Island, and I'll tell you, it amazes me every single time I see it. It's the focal point of the park. Everything revolves around it. You can stand back and take it all in and get closer and really look at the detail, and somehow it never gets old. Now let's talk about something that really matters at the Animal Kingdom, the pathways. Overall, they're very manageable. There's plenty of room. You're not squeezed in like some of the other parks, but they're not flat. You're going to deal with a lot of small hills going up and coming down throughout the day. And over time, you're going to feel it. There's also something that's important to understand. When you head over to Pandora, the land of Avatar, it's actually going downhill most of the way getting there, which feels easy until you realize you're going to be coming back up. And that's where the pacing really starts to matter, especially if you have people in your party that are walking or are pushing a manual wheelchair up and down those hills. On top of that, the pavement itself, it's different. You'll notice cracks, uneven textures, or rougher surfaces. And that's just not neglect. That's by design. It's meant to feel natural, authentic, like you're moving through a real environment. Now, crowds do build here, especially in Pandora. And what you'll notice is people stop a lot. They'll be looking around, taking pictures, just taking it all in, which they should. So instead of weaving through crowds, you move with the flow. But again, you'll always have those people that'll stop directly in front of you, not noticing or not caring that you're behind them with a scooter or a wheelchair. So get used to it. That's part of life when you're visiting the Disney parks, especially when it's crowded. One of my favorite times in this park is going to Pandora at night. The illumination there is captivating. It's not just lighting, it's an atmosphere. And if you can time your day for that, it's absolutely worth it. Now, I've done most of the attractions here, with one exception, Cali River Rapids. That one's not for me. Getting into the raft can be a challenge. Getting out of the raft is more of a challenge for me. Uh, and I also don't want to be wet for the rest of the day. And that's something I want to emphasize. You don't have to do everything. You choose what you want to do and what works for you. One thing I always make time for is Festival of the Lion King. I love that. I just love that show. It's an indoor show. It's, a respite from the heat. It's nice in there. It's easy to get into with your scooter or your wheelchair. They put you right up front. And again, from an accessibility standpoint, it's excellent. Very easy to use with a scooter or a wheelchair. You've got space. You've got assistance if needed, and it gives you a great break in the day. Midday here can be tough. The heat, the humidity, and fewer indoor spaces than other parks. And this is where pacing becomes critical. This is where you slow down, take a break, and reset. There's one more thing I always keep in mind, and that's the weather. Rain can show up quickly here. So I always recommend scoping out places where you can take cover before you actually need them. And if you're using a mobility scooter or an electric wheelchair, this part is important. Always carry a poncho with you. Not just any poncho, but just make sure it's large enough to cover you and the electronic controls of your scooter or wheelchair. Because those controls, you, ju- you just don't want them getting wet. And then there's something I always try to do. I come back to the tree of life at night, especially during the Christmas season. The projections they put on it are stunning. It's the same place, uh, but it feels completely different. When the focus becomes riding every attraction, it's easy to miss the moments that are quietly becoming core memories, the atmosphere, the details, the time in between. Animal Kingdom is built for those moments. I'll give you, for instance, there's an area that you'll see the monkeys jumping from one tower to the next, and they put on quite a show. It's pretty good, and you never know what they're going to do. And I just sit there and I'm mesmerized by these monkeys. And I just get a kick out of it. However, by the end of the day, you'll feel this one, not because it's difficult, but because it's full. It's a different kind of full. So is Animal Kingdom easy with a mobility scooter? Not exactly. Is it manageable? Absolutely. But more importantly, it's worth it. If you slow down, pace yourself, and experience it in the way it was designed to be. This park might surprise you. The landscaping is phenomenal. It's beautiful. Uh, it 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 just breathtaking, and the way they maintain it is unbelievable. So that's something just to soak in it in itself. And if this video helped you in any way, here's what I'd like you to do next. If you've been to Animal Kingdom using a mobility scooter or a wheelchair, or if you're planning your first trip, leave a comment and share your experience, your thoughts, your reservations about it. Again, ask questions because one of the best things we can do here is help each other. And if you're someone who's been wondering, can I still do this? Can I still enjoy Disney the way I used to? Yes, you can. You do it a little bit differently, and sometimes that difference makes it even better. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing because this isn't just one video. This is part of a series where I'm showing you what it's really like to navigate Disney World with a mobility scooter or a wheelchair. No hype, no fluff, just real experience. And for my next video, we're going to step outside the parks and head over to Disney Springs because that's a completely different environment. It's a different layout, different challenges, different pacing. And I'll walk you through what it's really like to navigate Disney Springs using a mobility device, what to expect, and what you need to know before you go. Until then, take your time, enjoy the moments, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being with me today. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye bye.